Way for Rikers Island after elected officials toured the jail and what they called crisis conditions. Mayor Bill de Blasio unveiled a step-by-step plan to address the issues.
The emergency Rikers relief plan, and it's going to allow us to do a number of things quickly and differently. First of all, I mentioned the NYPD. We're going to bring in the NYPD to provide the staffing support in the courts as many places as we can. Also, we have to speed up the intake process. We're going to be opening up 2 new clinic spaces. Anyone who's out sick for more than 1 day will have to go to a doctor for evaluation or provide appropriate documentation. If they don't, there'll be suspension without pay for 30 days.
All right, so let's break down some of those. The Correction Officers Union says they were never consulted about the plan. They're calling it a knee-jerk reaction that doesn't address the biggest problem, and that's understaffing. Union President Benny Blasio Jr. joins us now with more reaction to the city's plan. So good morning to you, Benny. Thanks for being here.
Morning, Dan. Thanks for having me.
So first and foremost, let's get your reaction to one of those items in regards to the NYPD stepping in to help out. How much relief will be provided by having the NYPD replace the COs who are tied up in court?
Well, that's not going to work. I mean, look, that's like union busting, having the NYPD to come in and do the jobs that we do. And we don't have enough officers in the courts as it is. And they talk about the delays of the court system. This is just going to cause more delays because we're trained differently than the NYPD in terms of paperwork when it comes to the court system.
Okay, well, you say the union wasn't consulted at all on this plan. So when was the last time you spoke with Corrections Commissioner Vincent Schiraldi or Mayor Bill de Blasio, for that matter?
Schiraldi called me right after the mayor made the announcement. So there was no notification to the union. This is how they do business. This is how the mayor does business. I mean, it's ridiculous. This is what we're dealing with. I mean, the mayor's ill-conceived knee-jerk reaction. This emergency plan is like rearranging the chairs on the Titanic. It's a sinking ship.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have enough correction officers available. And this is our problem. 1,300 resignations since January of 2019. And this 30-day suspension of if officers are AWOL is just ridiculous because officers have personal emergencies. And if that personal emergency is denied by the tour commander, then they're going to be considered AWOL. And now I'm going to be, we have to bring in documentation on next tour of duty. Now I'm going to be AWOL and suspend me for 30 days.
All right, let me just bring a little clarity for those who may not understand what's going on there. Part of that understaffing issue, we have the commissioner on, is that a lot of correction officers, he says, are calling out sick, right? And so now they're saying that if you're out more than 1 day of being sick, you're going to need a doctor's note. If you don't have that note or evaluation, you will face 30-day suspension without pay. So obviously you're not in favor of that plan. But he's saying it's because there's that fact that so many people are calling out sick and not showing up to work is leading to longer hours for other correction officers.
Well, look, people are calling out sick for legitimate reasons. We're being assaulted at an all-time high rate. Serious felony assaults on our members by inmates. They're facing serious felony charges. We're dealing with a more hardened criminal. And working 25-plus hours a day is leading to exhaustion. And to top it off, officers are not even getting paid for working their overtime. There's like a mess. It's like, look, this is like become modern day slavery for us. And it's unfortunate for me to say that. And we're the largest law enforcement minority union in the city of New York. Is that why we're getting treated this way? Deplorable conditions, 1,300 resignations since January of 2019.
Wouldn't freeing up those officers from the courts to allow them to go to Rikers Island and help with the understaffing problems, wouldn't that help?
There's only a few hundred officers that they're talking about replacing, taking over they're saying NYPD would take over arraignments, the arraignment process. That's not the solution to the problem.
So what is the solution?
600 officers.
How do we get there? So what is the solution? How do we get there? How do we fix this? Because it needs
to
be fixed quickly. We need
2,000 correction officers. 1,300 resignations. That doesn't even account for the officers that have retired. Not hiring correction officers in close to 3 years has been the problem, and the neglect for years. The mayor should resign. I mean, not being on Rikers in 4 years is unacceptable. We have inoperable cells They're housing inmates by gang affiliation. Inmates can pop out of their cells at will. You know, inmates have to be held accountable for their crimes that are committed in jail. The Bronx DA isn't even prosecuting inmates. So we have a recipe for disaster. Overworked, not being paid, single parents have to worry about childcare at home. You know, this is crazy, and officers are fed up, and this is our reality every day. And now that the legislators came to see for themselves our madness every day, and now they come for the well-being of inmates. You know, look, we're all for reform, but reform can't be one-sided.
Well, we heard from those legislators yesterday. We had Congressman Bowman on and Public Advocate Jumaane Williams. They talked about both inmates and correction officers, to be fair there. You know, that relief plan that was cited did talk about contractors would be brought in to repair broken locks and clean up some of the facilities, some of the issues you're describing right now. So it seems like they are trying to take those steps. What do you think is missing then from the plan? Yeah,
but Dan, they're not trying. They've had new cell doors in the basement of one of the jails, RNDC, that has the most inoperable cells for 5 years. So when Schiraldi comes on and says that, oh, we fixed 250 cells, you know, they fixed 250 cells since 2014. So to try to take credit like you came in here and fixed 250 cells and it taking another year to fix the 700 broken cells, that's ridiculous. This is the city of New York, Dan. Right. We build bridges, tunnels, skyscrapers. They don't want to fix Rikers. They want Rikers to fall apart so they can keep this narrative.
All right, Benny.
They're all cultural violence.
We are out of time, Benny.
Yeah, we can feel your passion, though, Benny. We appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. We're suffering. We need help. Thanks for having me on.
We'll be at the hearing today, too, that you're going to testify at, so we'll be there every step of the way.